Hey all, welcome back to the channel, or to the channel if you're here for the first time, and you may very well be here for the first time because this is my TF Reviewers introduction video. Just like kind of everybody else that's part of this wonderful community, I have 6 questions that I have to give the answers to. I'm going to do it in the style of the true review. I'm even going to include it as a true review, so for those of you who already know how this goes, you know how it goes. Those who don't, you're going to get a chance to learn about myself, my interest in Transformers, and kind of how I got into this whole crazy community to begin with. So, without any further ado, let's jump in to the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. And hit that notification bell. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, The Autobot Family, Transformers vs. G.I. Joe vs. DC Universe vs. Marvel, and all of my social media links down in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can always use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. And this is my TF Reviewers kind of introduction. There are 6 questions. I'm going to go through the answers. The challenge is that you have 5 minutes per question. I'm usually a pretty long-winded guy, so we're going to see how this goes, but I think they should go pretty quickly. The first one is introduce your channel, introduce your social media, introduce yourself. I'm GotBot. I do reviews, I do stop motions. On Fridays we do the countdown. On Thursday nights we do the live show, GotBot Goes Live, where we cover news and pickups and my thoughts about a lot of things. Always things in the work, always new ideas in the work. But we'll always kind of see what comes up. Sometimes there's tutorials, sometimes there's how-tos. In terms of the channel, well, you're here now, so hit that subscribe button, man. In terms of my social media, I use it all the time. I converse with so many people, but I don't know what they are, so I actually had to look, because I'm like, I use it, I don't know what it is. My Instagram is Dennis_Moulton_author. My Twitter is DennisMoulton1. What else do we have? My Pinterest? Pinterest.com/MoultonDennis/ as I go down here and look a little bit more, Patreon.com/GotBot, and Teespring.com/store/GotBot-productions. There you go. That's kind of the main social media. Anything else really concerns the books that I've written, which of course is The Everything Factor, Machinery of Man, or it has to do with some of the Facebook groups that I admin and am part of. And like I said, those things are always down in the descriptions. So that's kind of question number 1 kind of covered. Then question number 2 says, first time with any series. I assume that means like the first time I watched a series, like what was my first series? Mine of course was G1. In 1984 I was 6. And I saw this come on. I was already a fan of GoBots in kind of after school time, around 4:30. They would come on. Transformers ended up kind of following very soon after, and I like both of them, honestly. I thought they were both great shows. I really enjoyed them for different reasons. Even though Transformers always felt a little more mature to me, so to speak. So I kind of really got into it very, very early on. And I guess I just liked the whole concept of big robots, and I liked that they changed into things. I just thought it was a cool idea, and I don't know, right away I sort of saw Optimus Prime as like a father figure, and I was mesmerized from then on. First time with any movie. It's really funny. Because of my age and whatnot, the first movie I ever saw naturally was the 86 movie, but I didn't see it in 86. I saw all of season 3 before I ever saw the movie, before I ever knew that a movie existed. I don't remember it. I don't remember commercials for it. I certainly don't remember it being in like theaters or anything like that. What happened was I was a fan, and most of season 1, if not all of season 1, did come on after school. Unfortunately, with season 2, it got moved to midday, like 12:30 in the day. It was so weird, and I was in school and I wasn't able to watch it. and I heard the Transformers was still on, and I was home one day from school, and I happened to be going through the channels, and lo and behold, I saw Beachcomber with a golden hand, and it was the Golden Lagoon episode. That was the first episode of Transformers after season 1 that I saw because of the time slot change. Eventually it came back on in the afternoons. And then all of a sudden it was no more Optimus Prime or Megatron. It's this Galvatron and Rodimus Prime and Cyclonus and Springer and Ultra Magnus, and like, it was still cool. It was obviously still Transformers. It was Autobots, Decepticons. But I always thought, like, it's so weird that they're doing this without any explanation. And then somebody said, you know, there's a Transformers movie. And even then I thought about, wow, a movie? What would the Transformers look like real? Like if they were real, what we now know as live action. But I was a kid, right? And when I saw it at the video rental store in its VHS cassette form, I was blown away, and I was like, whoa, what is this? And I got it, and I got to Optimus' scene, and I cried and cried and cried, as all kids did. But by the end of it, I said, oh, this is what happened. This is how we went from who I know to this. But it definitely wasn't 86, because I would have been 8. I was at least 10 or 11 before I had that experience with the movie. And the first time I ever saw it in theater was when it was kind of re-released a couple of years ago, and I went with Andy B of Andy B Games and Starscream Wife, and I enjoyed it then as much as I did when I was 10 or 11. That's question number 2 done. Wrong. That was question number 3. We're into question number 4, which is... 1, of course, was introduce myself. 2 was series. 3 was movie. This 4th one is First Toy. First Toy I did in a true review, episode 200, and it was the G1 Red Bumblebee, who I have always called a cliff jumper. And he's held up pretty well over the years. He still has his rubber tires. We don't really tend to get like that rubber rot in my neck of the woods. He's held up well. The Decepticon that I had was Thundercracker. And the first one that I broke was, sadly, G1 Jazz, about 15-20 minutes after leaving the store, and the dude snapped in half. I didn't dare tell my parents for fear of getting in trouble. I never considered or knew that they would be able to return him and probably get me a new one. Such is life. But the first one that I had out of them all was that Red Bumblebee. Next it says, first... series, movie, and or toy, and why. Okay, so it's interesting. I take this as, which one do I put first? Which one do I like first? Anybody who knows me knows that I'm an animation accuracy junkie. Things like stickers are wonderful. Things like heavy scratch are great, but I want what I saw when I was 6 on the screen. If I'm watching... if I have something that's Beast Wars, I want what it looked like in 1996. I want the thing I saw on the screen. It's really as simple as that. I have done a ton of customs. Again, anyone who knows me knows I've done a lot of custom work in the effort to make things look more G1. Sometimes you have to do a very little bit. Sometimes you have to do a lot. Something very simple, for example, somewhat recently was Earthrise Optimus Prime as of the recording of this video. And his biceps were gray. They're not supposed to be gray. They're red. You know how I know that? Because that's what they were in the cartoon. Now, some people go for something like toy accuracy. Neat. If that's what you want to do, go for it. Not me. I want what I had on the screen as a lad. I like the movies. I like the plastic representation. But what's first and foremost always going to have my heart is going to be that animation accuracy. That's number 5. And that brings us to the last question, the 6th question. Don't even need to reference it. Why do I love Transformers? I don't know. Nowadays, it's because of the nostalgia. It's because of the storytelling element in me. It's because of the uniqueness of the idea and the dynamics of the characters. As a kid, I assume it was the action. I assume it was the voices. I assume it was, Starscream sniveling, Megatron's growling, or Optimus Prime's heroics and kind of fatherly sort of, not advice really, but fatherly sort of stature. Grimlock's humor, I don't know. But I was hooked so young that now it almost doesn't matter what it was that started my love, because now, all these years later, I know that there's so much rich tapestry and layer upon layer, just like an onion, that's what I love. I love the epic nature of everything that can be, or the simplistic nature. You can go everything from, a cat caught in a tree on rescue bots, right up to the story of The One and the beginning of everything with Unicron and Primus and that whole heaven and hell type of scenario and relationship. The depth of simplicity to complexity. It's very few franchises that can do that and that have persevered long enough to do that. And I think that's exactly, because of that depth, I think that's exactly why I love this. So there you go. There's my TF Reviewers introduction. Kind of my, off the top of my head, thoughts about all of those questions. Thank you for coming by, give me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know, man, how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Subscribe, man. Hit subscribe, but while you're at it, you're hanging around there anyway. Don't forget that somehow, someway, each and every single solitary day, man, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way, baby, right here inside the videos.